Welcome to Startup MV Pitch Day for September the 15th. We have two exciting pitches today from Keter and N3BioTek. Bill, you are up next. Can't wait to hear about N3BioTek. And you walk into any of those hospital rooms and all the monitors and everything else that people are wired up to. The ability to take that to a more wireless experience is something that sounds really interesting, and we can't wait to hear about.
Yeah, we're very excited about what's happening. First of all, Bill Brown, communications director, not a technical guy, but there's a lot of information behind this if you need to get in touch with me. N3BioTek very quickly was started 4 years ago by 3 nurses. 2 of them had to drop out because they couldn't meet their financial obligations. My wife and I have gone ahead and picked those up, but the N3, so it stays, and it's kind of a catchy title, and we're not advancing here for some reason. We did before. Definition of terms, I'm sure a lot of you understand how a hospital works, telemetry, the process of recording, the vital signs that need to be gathered. Number 3 is very important because there are other people in this field who entered recently. Not all of them are hospital grade, and you're going to see the differences as we go through the presentation. Number 4 is very important. Leads, those are the things that go onto your chest, and that's where you see all of the cables, which you'll see in a moment. Most of the other applications that are out there, the software, the firmware, they are extremely limited. We are not, N3BioTek, the only technology to provide complete data so far. Now, take a look at that picture in the upper right-hand corner. It's a little fuzzy. But there is a gentleman who has at least 12 leads on him. He's in intensive care, and he's going to spend one of the worst nights of his life. Why? Because he can't sleep. The 3 nurses got together, and they thought, doctors tell us that our patients have to be able to sleep, but we're going in there every 30 minutes, every hour and a half. We're pumping up their blood pressure, waking them up to put on the cuff. All these cables, all of that will be gone once we do this. The picture down below, of course, is a lady walking, getting her exercise after she's had some kind of intensive care. That box she's wearing, by the way, you can tell her age there. That box weighs anywhere from 2.5 to 3 to 3.5 pounds. That's not going to happen anymore. Our solution is this. We are going completely wireless. We are removing all of the cables. We're using Bluetooth. We're the only complete system that's going to be out there. We will get the EKG, we'll get the blood pressure, we'll get the temperature monitor, we'll get the pulse and oxygen monitor. There's so many possible applications that we can do. Now, as you look at this, you're going to see these look heavy and bulky. It's an exploded view, just so you can see them. This box on top that you're looking at actually will weigh less than ½ pound, and it will sit on the patient's chest. These 3 connecting cables are for the prototype. You won't see those when we get further along. Hospital grade is extremely, how are we going to power it? Embedded battery that runs for 24 hours. Most batteries out there now only run 4 to 12. We've got something different. Again, no cables. What are we going to do with the data? Everything goes to the cloud. It's completely secure. But what happens if the cloud goes down? Well, all of these devices, of course, the main chest monitor is equipped with an extensive SIM card that keeps recording. And the moment the cloud goes back up, the internet goes back up, all of that is transmitted. And it will connect to other N3BioTek devices, which we're working on. Take a look at the gentleman on the left. This is only an example. You can see that blood pressure cuff right there. The box that's actually on top, again, exploded to show you how it would be. They will wear that blood pressure cuff 24 hours a day, and we're working on developing the exact synthetics that will make it comfortable with the human skin. They will have that in the middle of the night begin wirelessly, and it's all programmed by their doctor. It will begin to pump up, take their blood pressure. They may roll over, they might do this, but they'll get their sleep, and that's what we're after. The remote ECG monitor, you can see here's a very important point. A lot of the other companies that you may look at, well, there's not that many, but their leads are limited. We can do up to 15 leads on a person's chest. We're gathering than any other company can, and it will be available to the doctor or the nurse at any moment. These are the working prototypes. They will be different. You will not see these straps and cables and stuff like that. We had to do this just to make sure that we could transmit the data, and we've done it. All right, break it down. Now, 44.8 billion by 2027 at the, you can see the compound annual growth rate at 4.4%. You can see the other use. We are confident that we're going to be able to address 5% of that market within 3 years. That's a lot of money, a lot of money. Here's our competition. If you look, complete all-in-one monitoring device, there except for Athena GTX, but they're not as sophisticated or complicated as we are when it comes to gathering data. The rest of this, we're the only one out there without cables or wires. All the rest of the people that say they're wireless still have some kind of cable that wraps around a shoulder or does something like that. We don't. The patient is going to be comfortable. Number of leads. This is extremely important. When you look at the chest, the other companies can only do that. That's incomplete data. We can do 15 once our software is developed. Hospital grade, a lot of them claim to be. A couple of them aren't, and you'll find them more as a home-based device, which we can also do. It's not just hospitals. You realize there's 16,000 hospitals in the world. On the average, they have 100 rooms, and each of those rooms has at least one cardiac telemetry monitor in it with all of its cables. Many hospitals, larger hospitals, up to 300 beds, they all need monitored. You can see the growth potential for this. It's absolutely extraordinary, but we're not limited to that. We can put these things on cruise ships, cargo ships, airplanes. We can go to doctor clinics. We can go to outpatient clinics. We can go to emergency walk-ups. The market just continues to explode. Plus, something that's not on here and something that we're working to develop. There are other fields that this can move into, such things as tactical, possible military, monitoring people on patrols, checking and evaluating troops in the field. This can all be done. Here you are. The most important thing I want you to see on this, it is a subscription-based model. We have a target unit price of $3,500. You'll see why that's very important in a moment. You can see our initial production costs. This little blue balloon down here below is also extremely important. The average device life is only 5 years. So all these hospitals, all these clinics, they have to replace all of these machines every 5 years. All right, here's some of the differences. You go to a hospital now, or a hospital wants to buy the current existing cabled machines. They're from $5,000 per unit. You can see the cost on the cables. It requires constant nursing. Our biggest difference here is the entire system is going in for $3,500, reducing the cost to the hospital, hopefully cutting the patient cost, but who knows. No repetitive costs for cables, reduced nursing. What this means is that the nurse is free to perform other tasks rather than going into the room 5 or 6 times a night. She's got it right there on the phone or at the main station. And the doctor at home, if there's a problem, gets an automatic alert. He's on the phone. Currently, they have to call him up to give him the information. This is our team. I am not a partner. I'm just the communications director. The person who designed this is my wife, Teresa. These two gentlemen are very interesting. I don't know if you're familiar with Dado Bonatao, but he's the reason that our computers and our cell phones work as well as they do. He is responsible primarily for advancing the computer chip Sept, the 10 megabyte. and also Accelerator Graphics. He's now in Silicon Valley. He's worth $5 billion, and he's helping people in the Philippines progress through an accelerator. These two gentlemen came out of that. They were the first to graduate, and they're highly skilled, highly technical. The biggest thing you need to know about them, and the reason we went to them, is because they are already in the business. Their business, their firm, very successful, is all based on transponders. They can track ships, airplanes, ambulances, sending constant streams of data from anywhere in the world. That's why we got to them, and that's why they became partners. Here's where we are.
Okay, so Bill, your time has expired, so try to wrap it up in a couple sentences.
Okay, I'm sorry. I get really talkative. That's our bottom line price that we're asking for. The only other point that I would make is that if you try to develop a device in the United States, a medical device, according to a recent white paper, it is worth $30 million. We're doing it in the Philippines for $2 million. So, thank you.